So to introduce the subject of the story, I thought I would go with a more Twilight Zone intro. Take a look. What do you get when you mix together a sex trafficking ring of minors, a New York City billionaire, and 2 US presidents? A recipe for scandal. But this scandal is best served cold with a nice heaping of supposed suicide on top. Meet Jeffrey Epstein, your average New York City millionaire, with a kink for young girls and massages. But just how did this financer-turned-fondler become front-page news? And why is he the center of many conspiracy theories everywhere? All these questions and more will be answered tonight on SoundSmart. So on August 28th, the Washington Post ran an editorial that read, "Prosecutors should thoroughly investigate Jeffrey Epstein and his collaborators." Well, no shit. I mean, despite the fact that it hasn't even been one Kardashian since the news story broke, I still bump into people who don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is or this entire story, or why this scandal goes a little bit deeper than your average tabloid. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was a New York financier worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, this guy made Scrooge McDuck look like a pond bird. He's one of the people that you would find in the back of any scene of Wolf of Wall Street. He had 15 cars and owned an entire island in the Caribbean. Now, this off-brand Christian Grey has been living a life of luxury, as well as a life as a sex offender since 2008. Now, the registration of sex offender came when Julie K. Brown reported to the Miami police that Jeffrey Epstein sexually assaulted her, as well as dozens of other girls. Now, you would expect the law would actually, do its thing, and that we would never hear from Epstein ever again. Epstein's lawyers made a plea deal with U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, who you might know now as the Secretary of Labor, but that's not an American nightmare I want to get into right now. They negotiated that Epstein should only be in jail for a total of 13 months. 13 months, that's it! Photos have recently come out showing that Epstein was actually a very close friend of Donald Trump at one point, which for any other president would be the end of an administration, but not this one. Now, before any liberals say that this is an absolute win and this is a great takedown of Trump and everything, it's also important to note that Jeffrey Epstein was also a friend of Bill Clinton's and let Bill Clinton borrow his plane at one point during the 2000s, making this a bipartisan scandal. That's right, Jeffrey Epstein was involved with 2 presidents, one from each party. But all this came to a screeching halt when, in July, Epstein was arrested on charges for sex trafficking. Since then, investigators and the press have been peeling back layers of the world's grossest onion. And since Epstein has a background in business and in plea deals, you can bet that while in custody, he will be singing sweeter than the songbird from Shrek about all of his friends. But you can't just sit at the table of the rich and powerful, then tell all their secrets to the authorities, and expect to, get away with it. But on August 14th, Epstein was found dead from an apparent suicide in his prison cell. Which is normal or predicted, right? Right? Wrong, because Epstein was on suicide watch. So how does a man on suicide watch kill himself? Better question, how does a man with connections to the rich, powerful, and social elite of New York City end up dead in a Manhattan prison? Now, I do not want to stir up conspiracy theories, but I do agree with the Washington Post that this case does deserve a second look, because it might hold the key to a whole spiderweb's worth of wrongdoings and sexual harassment. And here's the crazy part, is that this is starting to fall out of the news cycle. The crazy newscape of 2019 has kind of allowed the story to kind of, fade off into the distance. But it's been nearly a month since the story broke, and there's still a lot of questions unanswered, and there's still a lot of avenues and alleys that we can go down taking a look at this entire investigation. So please, don't stop asking questions, don't stop researching, and please, please, please do not forget about the name Jeffrey Epstein. For SoundSmart, my name is Tony Cabral. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.